think we have a clue in our first picture. At last it happened. God kept his promise to Abraham and gave him a son, Isaac. God's promise of a new people was beginning to grow. And so God's promise passed from Abraham to Isaac. When Isaac grew up, God gave him a son named Jacob. God's promise was beginning to grow and grow. And so God's promise passed on from Abraham to Isaac and from Isaac to Jacob. When Jacob grew up, God gave him 12 sons, and he named them Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Zebulun, Issachar, Dan, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Joseph, and Benjamin. God's promise was beginning to grow and grow and grow. But while God's people were growing in number, they were also growing apart. Jacob's many sons hated their younger brother Joseph, so they did an evil thing. They put him in a pit and sold him to be a slave in a faraway place. Oh, isn't that sad? Do you think Joseph was all alone in faraway Egypt? No, he was not alone because God was with Joseph. And God was going to use this evil thing that happened to Joseph for good. God showed Joseph that in a few years there wouldn't be enough food for all the hungry people in the land. And Joseph believed God. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, believed Joseph, and he put Joseph in charge of the kingdom. And Joseph helped him by storing up food. Then came the time of trouble, just as God had said. People came from distant lands to buy the stored food. They were hungry and about to die. When Joseph's father Jacob heard there was food in Egypt, he told his sons to go and buy some. So they went, and Joseph, now a very powerful man, recognized them. But the brothers did not recognize Joseph. After all these years, Joseph could have gotten even with them. Joseph could have sold them as slaves. Joseph could have killed them. But instead, Joseph gave them food, and Joseph forgave them. He told them not to worry. He told them God had been with him in Egypt. He told them God had sent him ahead to Egypt so that God's people would not die. Soon Jacob's family would begin to grow in Egypt. Oh, our next story will be God's people become great. God kept his promise to Abraham. He gave Abraham a son, Isaac. And then Isaac had 2 sons, and one of his sons, Jacob, had 12 sons. The promise was starting to be fulfilled. It was getting bigger and bigger. The family was growing and growing, and God had protected them from the big famine in Egypt's area and provided food through Joseph. So God is taking care of his promised people and Abraham's family. So our next story, we're going to find out about how they become an even bigger family and they continue to grow. But there's going to be some problems. And we'll learn about their struggles in Egypt. So that will be next week. On Monday, we'll do that story. And I hope you have a good afternoon, and I'll see you then. Bye.